I can't see when we're live. Oh, we're live.
Live.
Hello, guys. Happy Monday. We've got quite a lot that we want to talk about. I feel like it's been forever since I've been on here doing Monday Night News.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to be talking about the US election. We're going to be talking about interest rates, and we're going to be talking about Christmas.
Okay.
But actually, we have something quite important that we want to discuss with you guys first. Billy, come in.
Happy birthday
birthday
to Billy. Happy birthday to Billy. Happy birthday, dear Billy Bob. Happy birthday to you.
Hooray! Hooray!
Thank you.
Hooray!
It's been a birthday with the work fam.
Wow.
Seriously, like it's just been all work today. I'm like,
What,
Billy,
How old?
go home early.
22,
Billy, go out
22.
for dinner. Billy,
22.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
So I just walked out of an appraisal,
just signed it, didn't you?
and the owner said you look 15.
That's good. You'll take that as a compliment when you get to our age. I was like, thank you so much. Did you have a good birthday, Billy,
Yeah.
so far?
It's been an awesome birthday.
Yeah.
Anyway,
More celebrations tomorrow.
he wouldn't
as
go
well.
home when we asked him to go home at 5:30. Then that would
Literally.
We started here at 8
Yeah.
o'clock, and he was standing at the door looking in, saying, I hope everything's going all right.
Well, they gave me a late start. So
But
it was kind of
Gave you
luxury.
the day off, and you didn't want to take it.
Yeah. Well, I had half a day off.
Gee.
Do you do what everyone else does? Sorry, do you do what Mark does on his birthday? Mark literally tells everyone for about a month. He's like, it's my birthday. They go, happy birthday. I go, no, it's actually not for 4 weeks. It's like a
Anyway.
festival.
Anyway,
Yeah,
on
it's
with
election
the news.
Good on you, bud.
Well done,
Have a good
Billy.
evening,
Well
everyone.
done to Billy's parents. He's such a legend. He really is.
A good egg.
So well done to Billy's parents. Thanks, Billy.
So we got lots of stuff. What a legend.
There's so much going on.
So much.
Yeah.
And I can't remember a countdown like this ever with the US stuff that's going on. There's the ramping slippery slide to the end of the year. There's
Yeah.
the property market. There's the
Yeah.
interest rates potentially coming down tomorrow with Melbourne Cup. This is a ferocious
There's a lot.
next couple of months.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on. And, all of these things, all of these factors that Mark just mentioned, the US election, the interest rates looming, hopefully they're going to be coming down, and coming towards the end of the year with Christmas and New Year, all of these factors definitely have some sort of an impact on the Australian property market. And while we're not political experts, and we're certainly not going to be giving advice and thoughts on what our political views are, these factors, as I mentioned, you're welcome to, but these factors definitely do have a follow-on effect into Australia. They certainly do, don't they? They affect, particularly America. I mean, I would have to say, Mark, that it's probably the most influential country in the world.
Mm.
Wouldn't you think?
It is, but
It
I
is.
don't like to admit it.
Why?
I think that
I
I'd
love
rather
America.
Something better, but yeah,
But
they do pack a lot of punch.
100% they do.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. When we have an election, do you think Americans care about it?
Nope.
No, they would never know. So, and, I don't know if they would even know who our Prime Minister is, with all due respect, but
Yeah.
we certainly know who's up for election. There's been so much publicity around it.
And
There really has.
Guys, the reality is, and I had a couple of clients that I was talking with today about it, I said the reality is there's always something.
Yeah.
Like if it's
Yep.
not an election over there, it's an election over here. If it's not that, it's a rate discussion of where rates
Yeah.
are going. If it's not that, it's a war. If it's not that, it's a recession.
Yeah.
It's a GFC. In my career in real estate, there is always something. We look for something, to go on. We consume ourselves with media
Yeah.
and action.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sidelined personally or concerned about which way that election actually goes, because I think there's big bodies behind these people, and there's decades and decades of infrastructure and webs of politicians that are behind it. So the figureheads, whether it's Kamala or what's the name? Kamala
Yeah, or Trump.
Harris,
Yeah.
or Trump.
But there's a lot
It's
of.
all right.
I was reading up a lot about this actually before I came on air, and unanimously the information that I was researching said that if Trump gets in, this could be a not so great follow-on effect for our country. Whereas if Kamala gets in, and guys, I understand, like, I don't have an opinion one way or the other. And if I did, I'm certainly not going to be airing it on here, that's for sure. But they were saying that, you know, and if Kamala got in, that not a whole lot would change. But the biggest thing that seems to be coming out of this, if Trump gets in, is that there are plans that, you know, there's going to be a 10 to 20% tariff on all imports to the US, and that he's pledged a 60% tariff on Chinese imports. And, you know, that certainly could have, or that certainly will have some sort of an effect on Australia. There's no doubt about it. And again, we're not political experts. We're not here to give you our view or our opinion. But what we are interested in is how those US elections and who gets in could potentially affect the Australian property market. And if you guys have got views, this is a live show, so feel free to jump on and tell us what your thoughts are. And then we're also going to be covering off a little bit about interest rates. So RBA actually meets for 2 days. So the meeting started today, and then they come to us with what the decision is. Yeah, they come to us with what their decision is tomorrow, Melbourne Cup Day.
Juicy,
and then
juicy.
the final.
That'd be a juicy forum.
Yeah.
Imagine
well,
those guys getting together.
There'll be a lot of celebrating going on if interest rates come down tomorrow, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe they will. I don't think they're going to come down tomorrow.
No.
But then the final meeting of the year is the first Tuesday of the month in December. And I know all the major banks are predicting there's not going to be an interest rate until probably early next year.
CBA is in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
CBA reckons this year.
And you know what? They've gotten it right a lot of the time. They have.
They still change their mind. They may change their mind up until that time, but at the moment, that's where they are.
Yeah.
Other guys are saying it's going to be first quarter of next year.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Well, that inflation rate, they seem to have gotten it down to where they want it, which is between that sort of 2 to 3%. But they need to see the consistency. So it's sitting there just for that 1 quarter. Unbelievable.
That was a mission that everyone was on to get the inflation right, and they got it within their band.
Yeah, well, that's right. But they need to see that consistency of it sitting there for a certain period of time. And again, we're not like financial experts either, but this is just from the information that we've reviewed. You know, in our collective thoughts as well. Obviously, we're speaking to a lot of people all the time, aren't we, Mark? Banks, brokers, always asking them about what their thoughts are when interest rates are going to come down. When do you reckon they'll come down?
I think that we're seeing on our commercial side of our business, retail's tough.
Oh, yeah.
Retail's tough.
And hospitality.
There's sectors that are tough.
Yeah.
And, you know, when that pain or that toughness came through from the bottom to the top, then we saw governments pay attention and take action in the GFC, in COVID, and those times. So, is that toughness in business, that ripple effect, going to go up the channel and up the line to government by December? I think it will. And do the RBA want to put a positive message out there just before Christmas when retail spending's at its peak? Probably. So I'm punting that there's going to need to be some assistance and some help, and it's a lovely message to put out there. They could probably afford to abstain for a longer period if they give people a little bump in December.
Yeah. I also do. I know all the speculation is that those interest rates are likely going to come down in the first quarter of next year. But I'm with you, Mark. I actually think we're going to see about interest rates come down by maybe 0.25. I just think like a little, they're just going to drip feed them in. And I know everyone else is going, no chance. But I'm with you. I reckon they're going to come down 0.25 in December. That's my thoughts.
And something we've seen.
How quickly will the banks pass that on? I reckon they'll pass it on quickly.
A bit of pressure not to pass it on.
It'd be,
you get hammered.
Absolutely.
Like when people are, and don't forget, I think Christmas is a powerful time. People heavily communicate as families, with friends, in business. It's that time where people have got a bit more time. So I think that you want to be putting a positive message, and I think that banks don't want a negative message of them not putting rates up between.
What do you reckon? And again, this is just a conversation, guys. But what do you reckon will happen to interest rates if Trump gets in?
Here,
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Do you reckon?
Yep.
Kamala?
Irrelevant.
Yeah. You got to wonder, you know, what that follow-on effect is, because obviously we do follow global markets. You know, it just depends what he's going to do. But surely you would think that, you know, I know some people just say like the guy's crazy, but you know, you would think that the minute if he was to get in, that things aren't going to change drastically immediately.
It's a long term.
It's a long term.
It's a long term. So I think the smartest thing would, you know, for these guys to get in is just look at the position for the first quarter of what's happening, particularly if they're coming this time of year. That next 6 weeks is festive. January is probably, you know, in commerce, is the first half is probably not as apparent. So there's probably a grace period, I think, as good as 6 months before they start breaking necks and cutting
and
checks.
also last time Trump was in, we had a different government. We're in a Liberal government. This time round, if he gets in, we've got a Labor government. So anyway, look, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think the whole world is going to be watching, if you even care. But I think Wednesday morning, our time is when we're going to find out.
So we're going to wake up.
Yeah, Wednesday morning, our time
We'll wake up
on
Wednesday morning with a new US president.
Yep.
I'm more in the who cares category than most people, but anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we're always going through stuff as an economy and as a country.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Something I found interesting this week was after about 14 consecutive weeks, 15 consecutive weeks of stock rising in the marketplace, as in there's more properties coming on the market. There's comments on your top right. There's more properties coming on the market, up and up and up and up and every week. This is the first week where property came down. So total stock on market reduced, contracted, less properties than all weeks in the last 14 weeks. So that's really interesting. And I think that trend of property coming onto the market is going to be less and less and less.
Well, it is in the lead up to Christmas.
Watch
so
this one.
Yeah,
Watch
lots of. So here's the prediction, guys, and this is what I'm predicting. I think we've seen our big surge of stock. We had a massive spring selling season. Lots and lots of properties hit the market, and I think most people. Drew's on here. Hey, Drew, hope you're well. But you know, lots of people in different areas right across the country were also saying we've had an avalanche of stock coming to market. A lot of the stock, when it's priced well, is actually selling quite quickly. So the days on market that it's taking for stock to sell actually is down significantly. The stock that's sitting around, they're the vendors that are going, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. It's like, I don't know what you're waiting for, because the buyers, they want the shiny new toys that are coming through. And the vendors that aren't listening to where the market's at and are saying, well, just wait. They're the ones that are kicking themselves and going, oh, I should have taken that offer, the one that I had in the first couple of weeks of the campaign. So I don't think we're going to see a huge amount of stock hitting the market now. I do think we're going to see a lot more stock, obviously, coming into the new year. And again, Mark, just having lots of conversations with vendors at the moment that are going, have we left it too late? Yep. You know, here we are sitting on the 2nd of November. Have we left it too late to bring our property to market? Now, the short answer is no. If I was a vendor at the moment, this is what I would be doing. And this is not like a plug for the marketing that we do, but this is 100% what I would be doing. We've got a pre-market option. Doesn't cost you any money at all in marketing.
That's good. Yeah,
I would launch now with that. Guys, honestly, this is my honest opinion as to what I would do. I would be launching, utilising our $0 marketing strategy, our pre-market or off-market, however you guys want to refer to it. I'd be launching with that now.
Yep.
I'd be getting all the photos prepped and ready. This is what I'm doing with the vast majority of my listings at the moment.
Yep.
Getting everything prepped and ready and launching around the 25th or 26th of December.
Yep.
Getting that property out to the real estate portals if it hasn't sold then. Because realestate.com, a lot of people don't know this, but realestate.com, that is their busiest day for eyeballs. Fact. On the real estate portals.
That month is the time when people that are dream, aspirational, want to do something, maybe sitting on a finance approval, that is the time people actually have probably the most time to dwell and look at what they love and
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
want to do, which is property. So
Yep.
it's very, very powerful having your property on the market through that festive season. Super powerful. We do a lot of deals for that period.
And we're open actually. So, you know, certainly we've got, you know, a lot of staff that are away, but the office actually stays open
Yeah.
the whole time.
And
There's different markets, Mark. I'm working in a Mossman market at the moment as well. I've got
Yeah.
a couple of listings there. And, you know, that market is different. That is, you know, you literally could time your calendar, mark your calendar by what happens in that market. Everything does close down. It turns into a bit of a ghost town over Christmas, New Year. Northern Beaches, guess where people come to holiday?
beach.
It's busy.
Yeah.
There's people around.
Yeah.
They go, what a great area DY is on the beach. We should have a look if there's something to buy. We've thought about moving to the beaches.
Powerful.
We'd love a holiday home. And so it's quite active. It depends on the market that you're
Yeah.
operating in. But guys, if you're watching and you're a seller and you're thinking, I think we've left it too late, let's launch the property in January. Guess what everyone else is doing? They're thinking, you know what? Genius. We're going to launch the property in the second or third week of January. That's what everyone's going to do.
And from a buyer's perspective, if I see someone on the market through the second half of December or the first half of January, I hear motivated. I hear motivated.
When it's a fresh listing, I reckon that's
Any
killer.
listing, I think whenever
Yeah.
I see stuff, I think, well, these guys are open for inspection. These guys are on the market. Let's go and have a look. These guys are keen. They're motivated. Now, for a tenant, I think it's a particularly good time because other agencies close down. Landlords are freaking out. And I think you can optimize on that period as well. So for a tenant to actually secure a letting in the last half of December
Yeah.
or the first half of January, it's an excellent concept to look at a property then if you can
And
find one.
FYI, let me give you guys a tip. If you're a buyer and you're seeing a property that is sitting on the market, that's been on the market for a little while and is still on the market around that Christmas, New Year period, I'd be throwing in an offer.
Yep.
I would be throwing in an offer. So, you know, you ask experienced investors or buyers when they love to buy property, it's Christmas, New Year.
Yep.
You know, you've got vendors that are going, I just want to get it done. I'm over it. I want to start the new year afresh, throw in offers for stock that has been sitting around on the market. Not to say the vendors are going to take it, but we've done many a deal over Christmas, New Year. The biggest juggle over that period of time is solicitors do close down. You'll be very hard pushed to find a solicitor throughout that Christmas, New Year period, although we do have our hands on a couple of people that can assist. But ordinarily, we've got to entertain cool-off periods and, you know, usually quite lengthy ones.
Yep.
But it can be done, guys. You can buy a property, 5 or 10 day cool-off period, and that'll see you through to a period when the banks and the solicitors start coming back from their Christmas, New Year break.
Why not? If you
Yeah.
want to
Yep.
buy something and you can, relevant to the time of year, do it. So we've talked about Christmas and how the effects that has. We've talked about race.
Yep.
We talked about the election. In conclusion, is there anything else you think that's important? I think. Look, personally, me, election, we're okay. Go either way. It's all going to be okay. The world's not going to collide.
Yeah.
And I think if they wave on you, what do you think?
Look, I think
Did you say vote for Trump?
no, I'm
No,
definitely not going to.
no.
I don't want to say either way, but I do believe that, you know, if Trump gets in, I think that could have an effect on the global economy. Again, this is just my thoughts. I'm definitely not a political expert, that's for sure. I think that I don't know that Kamala actually will be strong enough to deal with a lot of the situations that are at hand. I think Trump is
Too
actually
strong.
just crazy, but I kind of think it almost needs someone like him to sort of pull things in. But that sort of volatility actually does worry me. I think Trump just says and does whatever he wants, again, with all due respect. And I think Kamala, everything that she says and does is quite by the book. It's like, there's the script, read it. And I don't know if that's going to be enough of a change. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see. I'll be interested to watch interest rates.
And guys, don't forget it's a live show. So before we go, if you've got any questions, type them in. We'll answer them.
100%.
We have to be on the Novak Facebook account to do that.
Interest rates, I think Mark and I are unanimous on that. And again, I know we're absolutely running left when everyone's running that way, but I do think we might see a little bit of a those rates come down just a fraction in December. I know everyone's going, no. But also, if you remember, Mark, the banks were saying there's not going to be any more interest rate rises, and then they hit us with one. Do you remember that? It was like, it's not going to happen, not going to happen. And all the buyers rushed out and started buying property, and then, boom, another interest rate rise. Remember?
Heard.
So often the predictions are wrong.
Yeah, good point. I like that. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. And then Christmas, guys, the short answer is, as we said, you haven't left it too late. It's only the 2nd of November. Go pre-market now if you want to dip your toes in, test the market, ready to launch for around Christmas or Boxing Day, and having your property ready and actually on the market for the new year. Get in before all the stock that's going to hit. It always does. It always does.
Most importantly of all these things, elections, rates, Christmas, Melbourne Cup.
Melbourne Cup tomorrow. I wouldn't have a clue. I would never know who's running, but I'm excited to. I'm excited to go out for lunch tomorrow. Pardon?
Matilda?
Is it? I don't know. I don't think I've ever put a bet on a Melbourne Cup horse.
I've got no idea about horses.
I love it though.
So it's great.
I'm all about, look,
up.
hang on. When I say I love it, guys, don't come at me, because I'm aware there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about Melbourne Cup and horses. What I'm about is just people celebrating 100%.
What's wrong with that?
Horses, some people are people feel strongly about it. They do. But I'm all about, getting together and just celebrating life and just like having some fun. Everything's just been so serious.
Good point.
It really has, and so whatever that might mean, if that means getting out with your team, we're going to be taking our team out tomorrow. It's been a big year of a lot of work.
Yeah, it's true.
And so just getting together with these guys and just having a couple of drinks and just being normal and having a little bit of fun together.
That's a good point.
So, that's really what it represents for us. So that's it. I also just want to add in, Mark, that Christmas, everyone talks about Christmas. The world doesn't end on the 25th of December. Everyone's like, got to get it done before then, It's literally a blip of about a week, guys, when things just quieten down a little bit.
Day.
Well, it's a day, but I think, that period between Christmas and New Year.
If you've got to get stuff done, you get stuff done. It's one date. It's a date.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful day.
It's a great day.
And you have your family together, you enjoy, you do all that stuff.
Yep.
But it's a date.
Yep.
And if you need stuff done before or after, well, it's a date. And you get it done before or after the date.
Agreed.
It's not a year or a month of it's just a date.
I agree.
Beautiful day.
It is. Drew, hope you're well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That is it for us. And good luck tomorrow if you're having a punt. And hopefully this information's helped some of you guys out there. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Love you.